Yeah. Okay. So now today let us discuss about API testing. Okay. So let me take a dummy API. Okay. So this is the dummy API that I am taking in order to show you how do we test it using Tosca. Let me 1 second. Open to- So before we kickstart this process, let me tell you what is API testing. I hope everybody is aware. Like API is the application programming interface, and it is nothing but whenever we don't have UI and all, API will help us to test the particular application. So what we do in an API basically, we have different types of request types in API, but the basic ones that we usually use are the get, post, put, and delete. Among these four, again, what do you mean by get? Get is nothing but it will fetch you all the information from the server. Post is nothing but it will help you to add some new item. Put is nothing but it will help you to update the things. And delete is to delete the things. These are the four basic request types that we have. And whenever we are testing API, usually you should have the following details. Usually these details will be given by your developers only. One is what is the endpoint that you are testing. What is the endpoint URL you can say. And okay, if you what is the payload that you need to use as part of your testing. Some people call the same payload as the body. Okay, so or some people call it as JSON code. Okay, so what is the payload or what is the body or what is the JSON code that we have to use while testing the API? The third one is the what is the authorization that you need to pass. In addition to this, sometimes we need to pass certain headers or certain parameters, okay, along with our request. So if there are any, what are those? In addition to this. So all these details usually you will get it from your developers. What is the endpoint URL? What is the payload? What is the authorization you have to use? And what are the different headers or the params that you need to pass? Once you get all these, usually you can kickstart your API testing process. So now let me show you. First, I have taken two URLs here. These two URLs are part of your important URLs that I gave you in the common drive. So this is the place where you can get the API service access key. Okay, so just copy this key. For the dummy API that we are using, this is the authorization that we have to pick up. We have to copy this key, and in order to run the APIs and all, we have to use it. Now let me show you one sample over here. First, this is one application where you have different APIs. Coffee related, data related, employee profiles, all this. Okay, again if you open this coffees, you'll see delete by using their key and ID, get by using key and ID, get by using only key, post by using key, put by using key. Okay, so these are the total 5 API methods that they have for the coffees. Now let's see the normal gets by using the key. See what is that it is required here? Only the key. So I just gave my key here and I'll say try it out. See, immediately I got a response. So this is the URL that they have used in order to test it. Okay, and this is the response that they got, and this is the response code, status code they call it usually. And this is how, once we get all this information, this does nothing but what are the different coffees that are present. See, so total I have 9 coffees, so with their names, IDs, and the particular description, I got all the details. So now let's do the same using Tosca. So first, before we start the API testing, we need to create a component folder. You all know what is a component folder. You can create it within your project folders or within your subfolders. Here I am creating it at a very outer level. Okay. So I'll create it here so it will be clearly visible when you open this project later. So I named it as API. And now just go to this API testing, and here there is a button, see API scan. Just click on this. This will open a API scan window. See, it says start API scan, cancel. Yeah, see, this is the API scan window that we have. So here there are different ways actually. One way is you can directly go to this new project, right click, create a new folder, and create a new message. And what you do is, one second, let me open this, maximize this. Yeah. So what I do is, here there is an option, see, URI. So just click on this. So it will ask you what is the URI that I need to scan. For suppose we don't know, okay, like what is that we need to, you have something like this, the Swagger UI part. Okay, so now what you can do is, you need not scan and you need not develop everything. You can just simply give that URI over here and say okay. What will happen is, see, it has scanned everything. Coffee, data, employee, files, profiles, secured employee, shops. In coffees, you have this again two times. One is by using key, another one is by using key and ID. So total all 5 requests. All the requests will come up automatically. You need not do anything. I just copied this particular Swagger UI endpoint and I gave the URI over here. That's all. Nothing else I did. This is one way. But every time you may not have in that way. So then how can you do that? Then the other way is, just give me one moment. నేను వస్తున్నాను. Okay. So the other way is, create a new message. Okay, this is the new message. Now let us name this message. Okay, let us do a get for this. So what is the method that we need to use? This is the method type that we have. See, you have get, post, put, delete, lots of purge, lock, unlock, link, so many methods are there. Now among this you have to do a get. So just say get. And then what is the endpoint that you need to get the information from? So what is the endpoint that we have used last time? This is the URL, right? So this is the endpoint that we have used. So copy the same HTTP colon so and so. Okay. And sorry, paste that particular endpoint over here. And at the end, you need to use a key because we are passing our key actually. This time let us pass our key via headers. So that is the reason I used a key over here. And this key is supposed to change every time. So I cannot hard code it as part of the URL. Again, it will be difficult for me. So that is the reason I am passing it as a different one. Okay. And now what is the key that we need to pass is this. So copy the same and just go to these params, and here you can say it like key and the value is so and so, and what is the type of this, you can pass it as a header, or else you can pass it as a param or query, whatever be it is. Okay, so for get, all you say is get the information from this URL. So you need not pass any payload or any other details other than the key and the URL. Now just run your request. See here there are two windows, a request and a response. So when you run it, you will get the response here. See there is some server error that I got. Okay, that means I did not get any proper information. I got a status code 500, which means that there is some server error. Means there is something wrong in the way that I passed the data. So let me debug it. Let me go to the URI once again. No. There is something wrong in the endpoint that I have taken. Let me check. Let me check from here. Webservice.tosca cloud /training. Yes, I got it. So now see, this is the response I got after updating my request. So I am using get method, I am using the endpoint here, and I am passing this key as a path parameter, and then I got the response as the 200 OK with all the information of the coffees. So once you get this, that means this request is done. Now in the same way, let's create another request, which is the post request. So let's say create message. Okay, and just update its name to post. This one to get. Okay. So under the post, again the same way. So just select the request type as the post, And what is the endpoint that we have to use? The same. So copy the same endpoint URL and paste it here. And for the post, usually you will have a payload because you need to add a new item. Whenever you want to add some new item or whenever you want to update something, you will have the JSON payload. So this is the format of the payload details. So copy this format and paste it over here. And now pass your data in this format. For suppose I am planning to add a 10th coffee. Okay, and the name of my 10th coffee is Oreo and the description is something like strong. Okay, so this is the 10th coffee that I want to add to the existing list. So I passed the same data in a JSON format. So now what we have to do is, again we need to add the params. So the first param is the key param that we have. So we need to pass it here. Now use key and what is the value? Copy this value and paste it, and the type is the path type. And the next another parameter that we need to pass is, here we are using JSON format. So the particular API should know what is the format in which we are sending our content. So that is the reason every time here we have to make sure that we are mentioning the content type. Let me show you a sample here. For suppose I am adding a new coffee here. Say it like Ramya and something like this. I'll just say try it out. See here, as part of your request, you got the URL, response code and all. But before that, you have passed the parameter type here. See, parameter content type is application slash JSON. So the same thing should be passed in your request. Okay. So for that, this is the one. So I'm copying the content type header. I will add one more key here. And again, what is this particular parameter type? Is it a path or a header? I think this is a header. Let me use it and see. I'll just run it and see if it works. Yeah, see, it has updated. It has updated my coffee as the 11th one, and the name is Oreo and the particular description is strong. So how can I test it now whether my coffee is updated or not? Again, I need to fetch all the information. Do you guys understand?
Yes, Ramya.
Okay. So just go back to your gate and rerun it. So then you can see it clearly. See, the 11th coffee is the Oreo and the strong, the one which we added through the Tosca. This is the one which we added manually. So you have all the coffees information again. Now, the next one is the put request. So right click, create a message, rename it as put, and put is actually the exact copy of the post. Okay, so what is the difference between post and put is, in put you can just delete the things and all. Sorry, you can update the things. You need not add a new one. Put will update the existing one. Whereas post is the one which will help you to add a new one. So what I'm doing is I just copy the same post one once again here, and I'm updating the method as put, so the same URI, and the params are also the same, and payload this time I want to edit the Oreo. What is the ID of Oreo 11th one? So as of now it is something like strong. I want to make it as strong and strong. Like some updation in the description is what I have given. So just simply run it and see it has been updated. How can you know that it has been success means? By looking at the status code. Now in order to verify, go back to the get, rerun it and verify if it has been updated successfully. See, strong and strong. Okay, so the last one is the delete. So what is this delete means? In delete, usually you have to specify what is the copy that you are looking to delete. So how can you specify it? You need to pass the ID also as a part of the parameter. So you can look at this request also here. See, they simply took the method as delete, they gave the endpoint, and as part of params, they are passing key as well as the ID as well. So that is the main difference. So let's create a message and name it as delete. Okay, and to this delete, the same endpoint. No, again here you are passing two things. So slash key slash ID, I believe. Let me check. Yes. Okay. And we don't, with the method is delete here, and the params are, one is the key param. So copy this key, and this one, and the type is path, and the other param is the ID one. I want to delete the 10th copy. So that one, ID. Okay. So now just run your request. See, for delete 204 is the code that you will get. This is also a success code. No content, which means it has been deleted. Now let's go to get, run it again and see whether it has been deleted or not. See, my 10th copy is no more available. This is how you actually create the API test cases. So, okay, once you are done creating your API test cases, here comes the next important step. You are not yet done with your API testing. So, all now you have to do is you have to export your test cases into the Tosca commander. So, this is the folder that I would like to export, right? So, just select this folder, and from here, see there is an option Tosca export. So you can click on this API test case. So this will export all your test cases into the component folder that you have created. So the main reason why we have created component folder is, now when you say export, automatically all the modules and the test cases will be exported from here to there. So now just close this API scan. I'm just saving it. No, I don't save. It will ask me some stupid names and go back to your Tosca commander and see. Oh, we scanned it somewhere else. Okay, no problem. So this is the modules that are created. Let us open and see. See, delete request module, delete response module, get request module, get response module, post response, put request, put response. The same way in the test cases also, one test case is created with all these responses. So what I do now is I'll just copy this test case, delete, get, post, put, and I'll just update them. Get, post, put, delete. I'll delete the remaining parts. This is the delete. This is the put. This is the post. This is the get. Okay. Now I'll just cut all this, paste it here, delete this unnecessary one. Same way, select all this, cut it, paste it here, delete this stupid one. Yeah, so now these are my modules, these are my test cases. Now, the next, how do we actually use them? So here, if you see, can we pass any parameters? No, right? So then how can you verify something, or else how can you pass your authorization key and all? For that, actually, we need to parameterize the things. If you look at this module, do they have any attributes in them? Hello?
No, Ramya.
Yeah. So now we need to parameterize them. So what I do is, I'll select the modules, what all I need to parameterize. So let me select, okay, let me select delete first, both the delete related modules, and all I do is, see here there is an option. If you open this, there is an option to open the attribute assistant. Just click on it. It will show you what are the different attributes that you can add. So I want to add key, I want to add ID, I want to add status code, I want to add response time. Just I selected all four and I said add. So now see, I got different attributes under them. So now what is the difference it will make me is, now for suppose I want to pass a different key rather than the previous one. So now I can pass it over here. So how do I do that? Let's just generate a new key. Okay, and copy this key and pass it over here. And say like we want to delete some eighth coffee. So pass it over here. And what is it you need to verify? What is the status code you would get? 204, no content. So just pass it over here and say verify for that. And whatever response time I am getting, just buffer it into a buffer. Okay, called response time. So that I can check my logs. Okay, so in this way, you can perform different actions by using the by using the attributes. And if you see here, the action mode in order to input something is insert. Always remember in APIs, we always use insert, no input. In UIs, we always use input, no insert. Okay, that is the main difference. Now let us run this and see if it works. So let's go to test cases and select this test case and run it. You need not have any UI and all. It will automatically run from the background. And see, this has executed successfully. If you see, See, you got the status code verification successful, 204 no content, and the buffer has been set to value 714. So for 714 milliseconds, it has took the time to execute. So this is how you work with the APIs. Is it clear? Any questions? Any doubts? Where is this? Yeah.
Ramya, the access key is there, right? So this is the every time we need to select the new one.
Here, as part of the authorization, no, here I gave you randomly. For this authorization, they gave you, see, the service access key will expire after 24 hours actually.
In real time, how we can do this
In
API?
real time, you will have different types of authorizations. OAuth, basic, and all. For suppose, if you are using something like basic, then what we do is we actually, whatever we have done, right? You can create a library for it. Okay, for suppose I'm saying you. I'll create one reusable test step block for suppose delete request. Okay. So what I do is whatever the test steps that I have here, I'll just copy both of them and paste them here and then just parameterize the things rather than passing them as the hard coded ones. So now, whenever you want to use it, it's up to you. How do you provide your particular key? If it is something like this, you have to take it from the UI. Then you can have a UI test case where you will be buffering this value into a buffer. And then you can pass the same buffer over here, buffer value. If it is something like the basic authorization, you can pass the key using your test case designs and all. So again the same thing. Okay. Hello.
Okay, Ramya, got it.
Yeah. Only thing is you should first parameterize it. Then it's up to you. How do you use it? Any other questions? Any doubts?
The
Okay.
first part, Ramya, the first part you did with manual kind of API, and this is the automation that using Tosca, right?
First, we need to, here we cannot scan the things and all, right? So, first we need to do it in that way and then export them here. And then from here, it is totally automated.
Okay.
Yes. For UI, you will be able to scan, but for API, it is this way.
Ramya, here you have deleted. So again, we need to verify it's deleted or not. So do we need to verify again? Okay.
Get request. Okay. Here for the dummy API that I am using, right? You need to use the same access key. Only then you will get the proper response. Means for access key wise, the service means you deleted something in this A9B. Okay. And you are using another access key, some EFB. Then you will not see whether it is deleted or not. If you are using A9B only, then only you can see whether it is deleted or not.
In API, we can compare the two XMLs to JSONs that will available.
Yes, yes. Actually, in API, you not on, this is the REST API that I have shown you. In API, you can work on XMLs, JSONs, and all. If you open API scan, you will have all those options over here. See, this is the file option, which is nothing but which will help you to open a JSON file and all. See here, you have the different file formats Okay, you can open them and you can create your request by through the files as well. I think we are not going to use that because we are covering only REST API, and further this is the format that we usually use.
Okay.
Okay, so with this we completed this. So tomorrow let us discuss about distributed execution and wrap up. Okay,
Okay, Ramya.
yeah. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.